Hey everyone. Oh, am I echoing? Thought I heard an echo.
Is it from my end?
No, I just thought I heard it just sounded like a loud echo as soon as I said, hey everyone. So that's why I'm like, oh boy, I hope I'm not having no issues over here. Hi, Carmel. Hey guys. So tonight I got a good friend here with me, and this is author Shrader Hill. And she is looking to hear some of your most scariest experiences that you've had with a ghost, a scary ghost story, because she is going to be writing another scary book on ghost stories. But I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you guys more about that.
So, hi everybody. Thanks for having me on. Hi, Carmel. Hi. So Bella's here with me. Oh, she just jumped down. She'll come back. I've got a scary book coming out, hopefully by Halloween this year. I've got plenty of stories for it. The one coming up after that is Signs. It's not goodbye, Signs from Beyond 2. So it's a sequel from last year's book. And that's all about signs from family members, pennies, cardinals, feathers, music, perfume, anything like that. Deathbed conversations where someone is dying, yet they're talking to somebody that you can't see in the room, but they obviously can. Near-death experiences, pets coming back to say hi, visions, anywhere where you hear somebody's voice, anything like that, any kind of signs from loved ones. So that's coming out next year, and I am still taking stories for that. If you've got scary stories, it's not going to make it for this coming book, but there's going to be another one after Signs from Beyond. So if you got some scary stuff, and I'm talking scary, creepy, that kind of thing, if you got it, I'd love to hear it. So you can send me things like that to sendshraderhillauthor@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. You can find me and Mandy on Wednesday nights on the news at Legit Paranormal News. And that's where I got to meet Mandy. And I'm so glad I did.
I love you guys too. 13th podcast. Oh, there's somebody has, okay, I'll put it up here. Let's see. Hey guys, please do like and share out this live feed.
Also, go find me on Facebook, please. I would love you guys to follow me. Send Shrader here. Find me. And I'm founder of Elk Valley Paranormal as well in Tennessee.
Yes, she is from Tennessee, guys.
Yep.
So yeah, just put in the comments if you have something scary. If you think you might have a scary story, you can just put a little brief thing in the comment, and I will put it on over the live stream here. So Linda, yeah, that's pretty interesting. You need to be recording. Maybe you'll capture something. Also, guys, make sure you do tune in on Wednesday nights, because we do Legit Paranormal Podcast, and we do talk about a lot of interesting things. So do you have anything you want to tell us from one of your books, one of your stories?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. I was talking to my mom last night, talking about signs, and any of you that have seen me on podcast, Mandy, I know you know, we lost my nephew back April 6th last year. So he was only 19 and a half, and he checks in quite often with us. I was talking to my mom last night, and she said, I heard Wyatt. And I said, you heard him? And she said, yes. So what happened, she got up yesterday morning, and she always listens to this church service at 9:30 from out of Mississippi. And then she listens to another one in another state. She just loves her church services on Sunday morning. And the dogs woke her up. She put them outside, And then she went to lie back down for just a few minutes. She didn't go back to sleep. She was just resting and just thinking, oh, okay, I've got a few minutes before this 9:30. And she was waiting for the dogs to bark and her let them, hi, Patty, to come back in and all that kind of stuff. And she heard, Nana, Nana. And she said, okay, Wyatt, I'm getting up. I'm getting up. And then she realized, oh, I heard him. I really did hear him. And she said, I'm getting up right now, baby. Thank you for waking me, making sure I got up to listen to my church service. So wasn't that sweet?
That is very sweet.
Yeah, so he's still checking in.
They do. Let me tell you, they really do.
Mm-hmm. Seen footsteps walking past the door. See? Creepy. I like creepy.
You guys better believe that I've given her some of my ghost stories.
Yes.
Filled her in on some of my experiences in the paranormal field.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I'm sure you've told them about the ones you told me, right?
Oh yeah. They've heard it on other podcasts that I do.
Okay. Okay.
Got Angel, don't know how to send to you. Linda, you're saying you captured what you believe is an angel. Is it in a video or is it in a picture? Hello, Wendy. Hi, everyone. So, Sin, what got you into writing these spooky books? And you're also in the paranormal field, right? You do investigations.
Yeah. I'm founder of Elk Valley Paranormal in Lincoln County, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. I late to the start, really. I've only been investigating for a little over 10 years. And
that's a long time. That's longer than me.
Relatively though, it's not very long, but anyway, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to go about investigating and that kind of thing. So my cousin is an artist down here and had her business investigated because she was doing art one night and heard click, click, click. And it was after dark. She was alone in her studio and she looked around for this clicking noise and couldn't find it. Several minutes went past and she finally decided to check the front door. It was locked. She hadn't locked it. So she unlocked it and went back to sit down, finish up what she was doing, and then she was going to leave. As soon as she sat back down, she heard click, click, click. And she goes back up. Her door's locked again. So she got a group to come down from McMinnville, which is about 2 hours north of us. And they found that she had a little old man that used to run that particular building. He had a store in it. And he didn't think she should be down there unprotected. Now, back in the 1800s and early 1900s, specifically late 1800s, right at the turn of the century, this particular spot on the square, the north side of the square in Fayetteville, was a lot of bordellos and a lot of bars. And if you were a female, you were not seen on that part of the square without an escort.
Oh.
So otherwise, it was rather dangerous. So her little man was making sure she was safe. I loved him.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So he was locking it. Was he locking? He was locking the door.
So nobody would come in and get her.
That's awesome.
I love that story. So I got that team to come down to my mom and dad's old store. We had lost my dad 2001 at the end of September. And it was an auto parts store. Now, this building had been around since the late 1800s as well. It had been a turkey slaughterhouse. And then the road had built up so much that first floor was now the basement. So that's how much the road had built up over time. And then the where they had auto parts was actually the second floor, right? And then the basement. And they had, let's see, there was an ice cream factory there for a while, Red Cross building. There's furniture company or store showroom, and then auto parts and probably some other things before that. But it was an auto parts store for a little over 30 years, and then Dad died. So my sister and my mom tried to keep it going. And in the South, two women running an auto parts store in a small town with O'Reilly's, Advanced, AutoZone, and even Walmart selling auto parts. They just couldn't make it go. So a year after my dad had died, Wyatt was born. So he was like the miracle baby, right? She wasn't supposed to have kids. Wyatt came in and took kind of my mom's heart after she'd lost her husband. So Wyatt took over and she kind of healed. They kept the store going for another probably 2 years, 2.5 years after that, and then had to close it.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had the team come down in 2013. All the utilities, everything had been shut off. There was nothing on, not a thing. My husband had even cleaned it all out. It was gutted. There was nothing in there. All the papers had been burned. Nothing in there. It's just a shell. And so I was the trigger object to try to get my dad to talk or to see if he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, the only place that their instruments lit up was exactly the spot that his chair sat all those years. That's all. That's the only place.
That would be the spot, Sin, because that's where
Right?
he liked to be.
Exactly. Exactly. Now they
Yep.
got two EVPs. One was this weird holy mackerel, which nobody in my family said. And then the other one was from the basement, and it was a bunch of clucking. We had turkey ghosts.
I can only imagine capturing, on a recorder, turkey ghosts.
Can you imagine? And if it was a slaughterhouse, those turkeys weren't having a good time.
No. That's crazy. And it's funny, you say nobody in your family says holy mackerel, but they say it in my family.
Do they really?
Oh yeah. All the time.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom's from the South. She was born in Kentucky, so
Really?
you just never know what's going to come out of her mouth. So, but we do have Stephanie here. Stephanie says she saw a pair of legs under the tree when she turned the corner and nothing was there when she was driving.
Oh.
Then she said another time she was driving, she turned back to look at her and none was there. Oh, so it's the same time frame. So it was a lady she's seen, pair of legs, and looked back and then she didn't see anything.
Oh, wow. That's weird.
Yeah. They know. Pam, you're right about that. That's for sure. So anybody who's just tuning in, I have Sin Shrader here with me, and she is an author, and she writes ghost stories and just all kinds of different books. And she is looking for any spooky ghost stories you might have. You can put something in the comment here, and you can also message her because it'll be like a year from now when this comes. You start on your next book, right?
Right. Yeah. Except for the signs. The signs I'm already compiling. So I just saw someone say, let's see, webbed. I had a dream of my grandpa the night he died. I woke up to him standing there looking over me, but he was see-through. I would love to hear more about that.
There you go, Des. Send her a message.
Send Shrader Hill author at gmail.com or send Shrader Hill author on Facebook, either one.
If you want, I can put that in the comments.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
Okay, so it's is it capitalized or is it?
No.
Okay.
And it's all together. Send Shrader Hill author, all together, all small letters.
All right, guys, I'm going to put this in the comments for you so you know where to go. At Gmail, you say?
Gmail.com.
So send ShraderHeal@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Author. Put author in there too. Yeah.
Oh, oops.
And Shrader Hill
So
author.
Shrader Hill author then. Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, guys, this is where you're going to go. You can send her your ghost stories. And there it is.
That's it. That
So
be
if you
it.
have a spooky story, send it here to her, so that way she'll look at it, and I don't know, you guys, she'll handle it from there.
Right. I just got off the phone with one that was just incredibly creepy.
Ooh,
And
can you tell
oh,
us?
ooh,
Are you allowed to
not,
tell, or do we
no,
have to
not
buy the
yet.
book? We have to buy
I
the
can't
book.
tell that one just yet, but it's going to come out in the one after Signs. So it's not going to be out by Halloween, but I can tell you one that is coming out in Halloween that was really creepy to me. My friend Regina, and oh, Mandy, if you are close, well, and I know you're kind of close, you should think about coming down to the Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo in Nashville at the fairgrounds. That's October 21st.
October 21st. Trying to
Unless
think.
you've got something. You probably got something.
I'm trying to think if I do have something. I'm thinking I might have something that date.
I bet you do since it's October. But they're going to have it every year. Um, they had it last year, and then this year it's just blown up. It's it's crazy. They've got 80 vendors now.
Mhm.
They've got all day speakers. I'm going to be speaking, and
Is
it's
this the one? Who's the main speakers?
so I'm one of them. The ones that are putting it on are Regina Weaver Blatt.
Mhm.
She is with. She's
Is
going to
it
kill
Is Brandon one of the speakers? His
me.
name's Brandon something, I forget.
There's several speakers
Mhm.
happening, and you can pull up Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo,
I'm
and you
wondering
got
if I was invited to this, and trying to think. I gotta check my calendar. Girl, you have no idea
I
how
can't
busy
even imagine.
it
Yeah,
is.
I can't.
Crazy busy over here.
And you're always on the go. It's
I would
ridiculous.
love to go though.
And I'm
I
trying to
would.
find time to write. So,
Oh, I believe it. Well, if I don't have anything going, maybe I can swing by. I might.
that would be cool. That'd
I
be
don't
really
mind.
cool. We could do a live there if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, hell
That would be
yeah.
fun. But
I'll see
so the
11.
yeah, yeah. So the
I just.
people putting on that is Regina Blatt, and she's with I think it's PPG Investigators. She's
Mhm.
going to kill me if that's not right. And then we've got Lee Pig with Medics for Paranormal, and Eric Freeman Sims, who is host of the Unseen Paranormal podcast.
Oh,
And he just started another podcast called Strange Chapters that came out Friday. And he read 3 of my stories from my first book, Whispers in the Dark. So
ooh,
that was fun. So it's all 3 of them, and they put this on, and they take a little bit, of course, to pay for the fairground
yeah.
rent and that kind of thing. But then they don't keep the money. They half it, and half of it goes to an historical location. The other half goes to an animal rescue site. So
Oh,
this time it's going to be the Trousdale Place in Gallatin and the Animal Rescue Corps out of DC, but their flagship is in Lebanon, Tennessee.
I love it.
So
I love them already. They're gonna save the
they
animals. I'm all about
they
it.
rescue from puppy mills.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That
So
is.
so Regina's story, she
Yeah,
had
there's a
gone.
couple of them. Did you see? Well, Des, she put another comment down. The lady
Oh, I
that,
missed it. I'll
yeah,
have
there's
to
a
go
bunch
back
of
and
them.
read
They're
it.
all commenting, and I'm like trying to keep up with them. But
Oh wow, Patty, that's a good one. best friend passed away, and 5 days later, her husband called me, but she already knew.
Mm.
Wow.
Hi,
Um,
Adam.
Regina's scary story was from St. Albans. She had gone there, and she two of her friends went with her. And this is coming out before Halloween. This Realm of Shadows, and this is her story from that book. And she and her two investigative friends went. She went up to the chalkboard in the schoolroom, the little classroom area, and she was going to just write on the chalkboard while they were doing a spirit box session. They had the video camera going, they had the audio recording going, and she was just up there writing questions, just being a teacher, right? And then they were into their spirit box session and looked around and noticed she wasn't moving. She was just standing there. She was just standing there. She had her back to them. She wasn't looking at, she was just standing, not moving. And they
Creepy.
kept calling her name. Now, interestingly enough, she said she could hear them calling her name for a little while, but it was like she had gone through this long tunnel and they were at the other end. So it was really faint. And then she blacked out. There was
Hmm.
nothing. She has no idea what happened. They were calling her name. And finally, Regina turned around, but it was not her face, right? Right. So they got her out of there, walked her around. She comes to outside and asks why she's outside. Why are we out here? Why is all of our stuff out here? What happened? She had no idea. They told her, you were standing up there just immobile completely.
That is crazy. So this is in your one of your books that you wrote, right?
This is coming out before Halloween this year. Yeah,
This
Realm
is
of
going to be the
Shadows.
new book.
Yeah.
That
So
is
it's
creepy.
creepy stories like that.
Yeah.
One of mine I'm putting in is was one of my very first investigations with the guys that came down to investigate my mom and dad's old store.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this house in Middle Tennessee. This woman had reached out and said, I used to do witchcraft. I don't do it anymore. I threw all my books away. I used to do the Ouija board. I don't do it anymore. Threw that away, yada, yada, yada. And I've got things happening and it's attacking my family and I need some help.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
So we go. She lied.
What?
She hadn't stopped. She had gotten
Oh.
rid of some of her books, but she had still been doing some things, trying to ask. And what had happened is she had conjured something. She had pulled something through into
Was she
her
dark?
house.
Was she the dark witch? Was she doing dark magic or? Oh no no! Whoa! What is
Yep.
she thinking?
Yep.
Mm-mm.
So when we walk into her house, I swear to you, Mandy, outside of a museum or a church, I have never, ever seen the number of crucifixes, crosses, and mirrors. I've never seen that many in one location. You
Mm-mm-mm.
couldn't even tell what color the wall was.
That's
It was
crazy.
just everywhere. And she had wind chimes hanging in her home.
She was
And
terrified.
she was. She was. And her daughter was getting attacked. She was getting attacked. So we opened a spirit box session. At this time, we didn't know that she had lied to us. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We just thought she was terrified. And she had all these mirrors up so the dark entities would look in them and leave, right? Because they don't like to
Mm-hmm.
see themselves. So anyway, we start a spirit box, and EVPs are my thing.
Mm.
So I can hear some voices coming across the spirit box when a lot of people just hear the static, but I can hear voices. And there was one that kept coming across calling her a liar. And I said, he's saying you're lying. and she says, I'm not lying. I'm not lying. And I said, he's pretty adamant. And she says, I'm not lying. Who are you? And they said, you know who we are. You asked us to come. You brought us. And I was telling her this. They're saying you brought them in. You did this. And she kept saying, you're lying. You're lying. And they said, no, you're lying. And it got to the point where all these voices were coming through and I couldn't make out all of them. It was just too much. Um, but I heard really weird words like dirt and I don't know, eat and, just strange. So when I got them home, I put them on my computer so I could go through them and pull these EVPs out. They were saying they were going to eat her. She had no chance to get away from them. They were going to pull her down into the dirt with them. And
man.
Horrible, weird kind of stuff. And they even said, and they think they're going to walk us out of here. We're not going. I mean,
what is so? I've never heard anything like this.
Holy cow! It was creepy. It was creepy. So I got all of it, and I called the main guy and I said, James, you're not going to believe these EVPs. They're vicious. They're, I think she's lying, because they're saying she's lying.
Calling her out. They will. They'll call you out.
You know what he said? Sin. Don't worry about it. We're not going back. She just called right before you did and said she doesn't want to know. She doesn't want us to come back. Just drop it. She knew she'd gotten caught and there was nothing else. And unless she, specifically stopped what she was doing and asked for the help she needed, I don't know if she's even still there. I have no idea. That is
insane.
So those kind of stories coming up for October.
Woo! That is
yours. And yours.
Mine? You put my story in? Girl.
Yeah. Girl. So tell the jail, that for sure is going in. So, that was going in. And I haven't transferred the other one yet. But I will.
That is awesome.
Well, they will be coming out.
Ooh, we got Kimberly Horn. She's got a good story for you, girl.
Ooh, in the French Quarter at Marie Laveau's. I would love to hear it.
Oh, wow.
That's one place. I've been in the store, Marie Laveau's, but I've not been to her tomb. And I'd love to go see that. And I'd love to find out more about her. She's an interesting lady. Very interesting.
Wow. Well, I put the link where you can go and send it to her, Kimberly. It's in the comments. You can email her. She would love to hear that story.
Yes.
Oh, she said, she's already on it.
Yep.
Who is this Marie? I hate to say it. I've never heard of this.
Marie Laveau. You have. Yeah. She was the queen of voodoo. She was the queen of voodoo down in New Orleans.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now that you said, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot going on over here in the chat.
There is. I'm trying to keep up with it. I want to put everybody up who's tuning in. Hi, Tara. Patty's got more. Pam, Pam, I forgot to tell her. I do got a story to tell you. There is a story at the Joliet prison that happened. There's so many stories I can't keep up, but I got my followers who go with me to these locations, and Pam's one of my followers, and she's reminding me of the story.
Oh man.
So yeah, the Joliet prison has some crazy stuff. Listen, I'll tell you what happened. It got emotional real quick when I went there. So I worked in law enforcement, for 8 years. Okay. So I love going to the jails, the prisons, and I love connecting with with the inmates. And And I've had a lot of my family, been in prison, in and out of prisons and jails. So kind of have that connection there. But anyway, a couple years ago, I got a bunch of us together and took about 10 people, 10 to 12 people, I think it was. And we all went to the Joliet prison. And one of them was one of my good friends that I've known since we were kids. And she actually worked in corrections at one point in her life, too. And so she was there. First investigation, went to Joliet prison. So it was Pam and Tiffany and I was over in, I think it was the death row building. Okay. They had told us, the caretaker had said, if you go up there, try singing to them, because we had a team that was here and they were singing and everything just started going crazy. So I was like, okay, we'll do that. All right, we'll do that. So as soon as we get up there, we set a couple devices out, and I'm standing by the one cell, and all of a sudden we started singing Amazing Grace. And I just broke down crying and freaking out, because this guy, because I'm a medium, this guy over here that was in that cell in death row 1 was talking to me while we're singing. And I'm like freaking out because I'm hearing his story, and it just broke me down. He's telling me that he was the first one to be, I think, electrocuted. He was telling me that he robbed people and killed them. It was crazy. I started freaking out, and I even think I got a name. I can't even remember, because he was just going on and on. And I had to stop. I couldn't take it no more. I had to stop. I've never, only a couple times I've ever cried during the live, and that's when it's really hitting me hard. And that was
Wow.
real intense. And yeah, when we went downstairs and we told the caretaker about it, he confirmed that cell was, that guy was the first one to be electrocuted, and he was a robber. He was a bank robber.
So everything you got was legitimate.
Yeah. It
Yes.
was crazy. Yeah.
Oh.
It was sad. It was so sad, because you could just feel it up there, like what they were feeling, because they used to play music back in that day during the Joliet prison when they had that death row. When people were being electrocuted outside of the building, they would have some like music playing, so that way the prisoners could not hear the screams coming from the person being electrocuted.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, at the Joliet prison, Kimberly. It was freaky, but it was good.
Wow.
Oh, someone else said they had something like that. Oh, Chris Fleming, we have the footage, but it matches what you were saying. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. Crazy stories with these prisons.
Yes.
Yeah. So what else can we expect from this spooky book? You want to give us another one?
Oh.
You got to tell a spooky story. How long are your books usually? Are they your books long? How many chapters
no.
in the book?
No. So if you don't want to be too scared, you get the fiction. And it's, see, it's not very big.
Okay, I see.
So that's Web of Terror that I actually did with Mark, who does the covers and all the illustrations in my book. So he did 4 stories and I did 8 in that one, just to see if we could do a fiction. So we did one. But I like the true stories because I take them from my investigations and my friends' investigations. So Whispers of the Dark was the first one I did. And it's 23 short stories, mostly in Lincoln County. There are 2 in Lynchburg, Tennessee, which is home of Jack Daniels.
You said Lincoln County. Is that in Ohio or Tennessee?
In Tennessee. We're right on the Tennessee-Alabama border. If you look at the map, we are right in the middle, and our county is the one that looks like a little house with a chimney on top of it. So that's Lincoln County. But
we have that name here in Ohio.
You do?
Pretty sure we do. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. You said Lincoln?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
Ohio?
But this let's see, this one, most of the stories are mine,
Okay.
but there are some that, like, team members have given me,
Okay.
from other locations and stuff. One in here I actually got when we went on vacation when you're supposed to be relaxing, and I got rushed at this cabin in Helen, Georgia, and that was not a fun thing. That was one of the 3 times I've gotten scared. And it's when I say rush, I mean something comes up on you so fast that you feel the vibration, and it's that and then it's this most incredible silent piercing scream right in your eardrum. It vibrates. You can feel the vibration. It's
I've had
that.
things like that happen to me.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not fun. That is not fun. So this actually happened on vacation, and this thing, I woke up in the middle of the night, didn't want to wake my husband and go to the master bathroom. So I went all the way to the other side of the cabin to the spare, and I had to pass the stairs that went down to the game room and the media room. We always get a cabin that's got a pool table, hot tub, got to have those 2 things, and a fireplace. Got to have those 3 things. And so I passed the stairs, and this thing rushed at me, and I had to stay calm and keep going into the bathroom, not let it know that it had intimidated me. And I shut the door, and as soon as I shut the door, I was like, oh no, I'm going to open this door and see whatever it is. And I'm not going to be ready for it. I'm not going to be ready. So I took my time in the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And open the door. Of course, nothing is there. Went past the stairway, and it was right there. It didn't come up at me again, but it was just glaring. It was just there. So the next day I told my husband, he doesn't, get into all the paranormal stuff, but he will humor me and
Sounds
go
like my
places.
husband.
They just kind of humor you. Well, I told him, I said, look, something happened last night, and we need to go get some sage, and we got to do it today. So we went all over trying to find sage, even incense, could not find it in the whole little town of Helen, Georgia. And then at the last place, it was like, I don't know, almost 5 o'clock in the evening. And we were at this one place, and I said, is there anywhere else that sells sage? And she says, well, you can try this so-and-so store right before you go out of town. It'll be on your right, and check them. We got there at like 10 minutes before they closed, rush in the door, and I'm looking. I don't see any sage, none. I see everything else, but I need some white sage. And I look, and it says bundles, and I look over, and in one basket, in the center of the basket is one bundle. And I thought, oh, okay, please, please, please be sage. It was the last bundle of sage they had.
It was
They
for
had
you,
all this
girl.
other stuff. It was like, how did that happen? I got there right before closing. They only had one left, and I'm golden. So we saged the place and saged ourselves and didn't have any problem after that. But I always carry sage now, no matter what.
I got the spray in my purse because, sometimes when I'm on these road trips with my sisters, man, they say one negative word. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not riding with you in the car this way and gonna listen to any negativity out of you. So you're not ruining my mood. So they get fired up. They don't like it. They don't like the smell of the sage.
Oh, I do.
The one in the bottle has a I don't know. It is a very potent different.
Oh, is it?
Smell. Yeah. Definitely. But they don't like it, so I will spray them. I do it when they're not even paying attention too. I'm like,
that'll keep them from being negative.
Yeah, Tom already knows. He said, poor Chastity. He knew who I was talking about. But it's the other one too, Tom. Bobby Joe ain't innocent either. So, but so if you're just tuning in, guys, what we're doing here is I have author Shrader Hill. She writes scary stories, and also she also writes on different things too. And she's looking for any spooky, scary stories for her next book. That'll be next year, right?
Right.
Okay. And she also has a new spooky book coming out before Halloween, and she's told us a few of her stories. But if you're just tuning in, you can put in the comments, a little teaser what's happened to you on your little spooky story. And I also put in the comments where you can email her to tell your story. You just might enter her book, your story.
So the Realm of Shadows is the one coming out next. And I've got enough stories for that one. But this one was my fourth book. This one is It's Not Goodbye, Signs from Beyond. And that's the one about loved ones and signs and even pets coming back to say hello and near-death experiences, deathbed conversations, visions, things like that. So
I'll have stories for you there.
Okay. So I've got a sequel coming out next year that I'm going to write some stories about. If you've got some, send them to me. And
so this is part 2 to this book, right? You guys, so what she's saying, if you have a story on your loved ones that have passed away or a sign, she wants to hear your stories on that because she's got the part 2 coming out to that book she has right there.
Right.
Awesome.
I had 50 stories in this one. And this actually it was after I wrote this. So this was my third one. It's my EVP book. And this one, you can actually go on elkvalleyparanormal.com. And as you're reading it, you can hear all the EVPs that are in the book. So
that's
chapter
cool.
for chapter. So elkvalleyparanormal.com. They're speaking, Are You Listening? My most compelling EVPs. All these are on Amazon. So I'm self-published. And this one came out, and this one was totally different because I'm normally writing spooky stories. And then God just kind of put this in my lap and said, you need to write one about your loved ones. And so I started this in 2020. And then I lost my motivation like everybody did, right? 2020 was just a horrible year. And then 2021 came and passed, and I still hadn't gotten my motivation back. So in 2022, I finally got the kick in the butt to write again from my friend Valerie that I get all my sage from. And she asked me, she goes, how's the book coming? I go, it's not. And she said, so when were you going to get it out? And I said, well, I wanted to get it out 2020 Easter, and that didn't happen. And then 2021 Easter, and that didn't happen. She goes, well, it's a month before Easter now. And I said, there's no way I can't get it out by then. She said, I bet you could. And I said, let's see how many I can get done. So within the next couple weeks and a half, I got 17. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. I just knocked them out. And so right after that is when we lost Wyatt. And I lost my motivation again. And about, 2-3 weeks after he died, I was like, oh, okay. That's why I lost my motivation. This book is supposed to be about him, for him. So it's dedicated to him. His story's in it. And that's when it blew up. That's when I finished it. So,
well, I actually wrote down in my notes all the experiences I had in my life growing up as a kid, all the way to the time I started Ghost Sisters. And I've got stories in there. And I just wrote everything down because I don't want to forget everything I've experienced before I even became an investigator. And I've been wanting to get a book published, and it's just not happening.
It sounds like you've got one.
I need help. I thought of you.
I just got Mark's book out because we've got our own little self-publishing thing going. So we're working on mine right now. I just finished his third Chattanooga Chills book. So he's got Chattanooga Chills 1, 2, and 3. And the third one just came out a little while ago. And so now it's my book's time. And then we'll go over when that one comes out, we'll do another one for him, which is going to be, this is great, my mean old grandma's cookbook.
Mean old grandma's cookbook.
Listen, you
That is
guys,
awesome. I like that title.
yes. And he's going to actually have a cooking show on YouTube,
I
the
know.
Fat Psychic cooking show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's hysterical. You guys look up Mark Elliott Fultz. He is so fun. He's going to have this show coming on, and he's going to actually cook some of these recipes out of his mean old grandma's cookbook. And then when it's cooking, he'll tell you a ghost story.
Oh,
And,
that is awesome.
or do some kind of art because he's a phenomenal artist. And then he'll end it with a ghost story as you're eating. And that's going to be the show. It's going to be hysterical.
That is, I like that. I like that. Cooking and telling ghost stories and things. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm down.
I might have to check this out.
I'm down. He's already told me about his chocolate one coming up. I can't wait for the chocolate one.
That is awesome. But my story that I wrote, in my notes, everything. See, I got stories on my daughter, who's also she's psychic medium, and my child, she don't want anything to do with it, but she can't help it. It's there. She just messaged me today. It was so funny, and she's like, "Mom," she's like, "somebody's downstairs walking around and ain't nobody here." I said, "That's spirit." And she didn't even reply back to me because she knows.
She knew it was, though. She knew it was.
But I have stories to tell you from the time when her gifts started coming in real strong on her when she was just a child. I went through the ringer with these spirits, man. They were just coming out of the woodworks, and I got stories to tell. And this was like before I even started Ghost Sisters. But then when I started up my, when I decided to start doing mediumship and giving people readings, and I started that before I started my team. But then my daughter, who was a teenager at the time, was going through all these experiences. And when we're together, it's even worse. And it just, the stories I could tell you just blow your mind.
Right. You got to get that book out.
Yeah, I was going to make that like my second book or something, or I don't know, Ghost Sisters, all the paranormal investigations I've done. I was going to make that a second book. I don't know. I just have so much to tell, You
got to get those out. I'll be happy to help you with them because, like I said, I edit his and I put everything. I need
editing for damn sure in my books.
Don't we all?
Because I just, and I know that, when you're writing a book, you have to, my father wrote a book on his life story, and I'm like, who in the hell edited this book?
Is it good or bad?
I mean, it was a good book. It was a crazy story. That my dad was a gangster, man. He was something crazy. And but the person who edited it, they did not have good English writing skills. And some of the words, I'm like, are you serious? And and it got published and everything, and it still sells to this day on Amazon.
Wow. But it sounds like it needs a little editing.
It needed it. It really did. But it turned out okay. Though. Good enough to get it to where they got it published. And he's no longer here, but his book's still out there.
Got his story out. Yeah.
Hell, he could have wrote part 2 to this story. He kind of left you hanging, like wanting more. It's like, really, Dad?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
But he's the only one that had the story, so he couldn't.
Oh,
he didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. Well, the people that knew him knew some stories, but it's not as authentic, coming from them. Coming from him,
right.
It's, I don't know.
Yeah,
he actually did write the book down, his second book, but it got lost.
Oh, no.
Hello, Christina, and everybody tuning in. But yeah, it got lost. So it never got written. The second book never did appear again. So he only has number 1 out there.
Oh,
That's all right though. But yeah, so we still have a lot of people here joining us. Do you
yeah,
want to tell? We got more jumping in as we as we keep going here. Do
sure.
you let me? Do you have any stories besides my stories from Ohio? Do you have any other stories from maybe from a doctor or nurse or maybe well, you've already heard some of my law enforcement stories. I don't know any. What's your weirdest, strangest story that's spooky you could tell us? That might
Oh,
be in this book. Do you have one of those stories in this book?
actually, I've got one from the first book
Ooh,
that was my creepiest thing
tell
because
us.
I don't normally see spirits. I can feel them, around me, but I don't normally see them. I've only seen one with my eyes in front of me. And it was the little girl at the hospital, and I saw her out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, and she sucked back in through the door and was gone. But
What?
I saw her.
Now hold up. You can't, Sin, you can't say she was sucked and
Well, I
then
mean,
what
she
is
just kind of went whoosh and
so
pulled
okay,
back
wait
in
a
and
minute.
was gone. She didn't want to be
So
seen.
like she just went back into the door and she vanished? Or did it look
See,
like something was pulling her in?
no, nothing was pulling her. She did it herself. She was peeking around the door. The door was cracked open, and she
Okay.
was peeking around watching my group. We were taking a group through on a public tour, and we were in the maternity section where she hangs out.
Okay.
And I saw movement because I was standing. I wasn't in the delivery room. I was standing outside of it, watching everybody inside.
Okay.
And that's why I saw something outside of the room. And I turned to look, and she just kind of went and was gone.
That's
So
wicked.
she knew I saw her, and she didn't want to be seen. But the other two things I've seen has only been in reflection. So one was in the reflection of a flat screen TV. It was at a friend of mine's house. She was having issues and wanted to see what was going on. They had just moved in some things, and she thought maybe something was attached. She didn't know. So I went over, and it was just the two of us sitting in the living room. Everything, we were just chatting. And she was telling me about some things that had happened. And out of the corner of my eye, I caught reflection in that flat screen TV, and the most beautiful redheaded woman I've ever seen in my life just kind of glided through from one side of the screen to the other. And she was dressed long red hair. She was
Wow.
dressed in an evening gown with one of those scarves that hang all the way down your back. I mean, she was dressed. And I she was gorgeous, and I turned to look, and I couldn't see her, and I turned back, and Pam goes, "Did you just see something?" I said, "Who's the redhead?" And she goes, "You saw a redhead?" And I said, "She's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous." And she said, "That's my husband's mother. This is her furniture that we've just brought in. It's all
Wow.
her antiques." And she had told us over the years, "Y'all be careful with my antiques." So she was just making sure that they weren't doing anything crazy with her antiques.
She was. She wanted to make sure
Yeah.
you knew it too.
The creepy thing I saw wasn't human. Um, it was in a place here that's still in business, so I can't say the name. A friend of mine um, owns it, works it, manages it, all that kind of stuff. We went to school together, and really good guy. He has had experiences all of his life. His son has experiences, and so it's just in the family. But he was working one night after closing and had this woman come in. She needed a certain part, and he said, "Well, I've got to look it up. Just have a seat." And he showed her a desk, and it was this nice shiny like cherry wood. You know how shiny those things are. And so she sat down, and she heard footsteps. And she turned around and she said, I thought you said we were the only two here. And he said, oh, yeah, we are. I'm about to sneeze. That's why I'm talking funny. I've got to sneeze
Hello,
right
speaker.
here. It'll come out when I least expect it now. So she says, you said we were alone? He goes, oh, it's probably just so-and-so coming back, forgot something. And as soon as he said that, there was a smack on the end of the counter. And she said, oh, what was that? And he goes, don't worry about it. It's just the ghosties. And she said, you're haunted here? And he said, yeah. He said, nothing's ever happened. It's just benign. Don't worry about it. It's just a little prankster we have. Don't worry about it. As soon as he said that, the swinging door behind him on the other side got popped. And and then you heard footsteps and came up behind her and popped the door behind her. And she said, we aren't alone, are we? And he said, I'm sorry. He said, it's because I'm saying he's not, going to do anything. And she's like, I'm leaving. As soon as you get my part, I am out of here. So I wanted to sit where she was sitting when I go. And my husband went because he's a friend of the owner. And I said, you guys go back in the kitchen. You guys just talk. Leave me here where she sat. So I've got my sun drop. I've got my cell phone. It's on airplane so I can play solitaire and not mess up my equipment. I've got a K2 and my digital recorder. That's all I took. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get something, anything. I hear pops and creaks and I'm talking out loud, trying to get a reaction. And all I'm saying is, that's probably the building settling. That's another building settlement. Nothing. It's nothing. And then the clock does something really weird. And it's one of those outdoor clocks that has bird calls on it, but it's like the woodland ones. So I'd never heard these woodland birds. And one of them was and got faster and faster and faster. And so I looked up at the clock and went, well, that was weird. I don't think it was paranormal, but that was weird. And I looked down, getting ready to play solitaire again, and I see this black cloud with eyes.
Oh, hell no.
And it goes over me. And I look up, there's nothing there. And I said, I think I saw something, but I don't know. The EVP I got later said, it was me. It was me. So it was the one that had bothered her. It was this little prankster. He's been on camera. He likes to mess with people, but he was not human.
Wow. That is creepy. You saw the black thing with eyes. Now, no, I've seen some things out there too. And it is scary out there. It really is, Hi, Levi from LA. We're going to have to get together, Sin, and you're going to have to do an investigation with the Ghost Sisters now, because I have a feeling you're going to be bringing out some stuff, and us together, it's going to get crazy.
I think being around you would be best, because I think you would bring out more than I would, because I'm just thinking you're the woman. You the woman.
I have a lot of energy, and they're like, "Oh, I want to go over here."
Right.
Let's suck the energy out of this one. The thing is, even though I have a lot of energy, and they do pull a lot of my energy, it doesn't. I can investigate till 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm one of those that can go, and I'm the type that don't like to stop when I'm investigating. I won't even stop to use the restroom. I'm out there. I'm on a mission. And I'm serious. It's rare for me to stop. Okay. Only when I'm stopping, I have to change batteries or, unless I really need to go to the restroom. Of course, I'm going to. But
now, Mandy, I'm going to tell you, if I got to go pee, I got to go pee. I'm going to stop.
That would be my
I'll come back.
I'll be like, go ahead and go. I'm going to be right over here investigating.
I'll come back.
Oh man, it is crazy. And actually, guys, we got a good investigation coming up this weekend. I'm going to be a paranormal reality TV Friday and Saturday in Ohio, here in Galion, Ohio, at the Brunella Cottage. So you guys don't want to miss that. And then Chastity and I, along with Paranormal Reality TV, will be heading out Sunday. We're going to go to the Mothman Museum, and we'll be doing some video and lives there. And then we're off to Bristol, Tennessee, to the Uber Shrine, filming for 2 nights in Bristol, Tennessee. So it's going to be fun. Me and Chastity's going to be in Tennessee we're going to be in Tennessee almost all week.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's the other story that's going in the book. That really? One.
The Mothman?
No. The Bristol. The
one I told you about the shrine?
Yes.
Which part? Because there was a few. Was it the one where everything I told you?
Pretty much.
Good. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So you got your prison story, and Chastity was actually seeing those prisoners. Remember that you told me in that story, and then the temple one in Tennessee. So both of yours are going to go in this book that's coming out for hopefully Halloween.
Oh, I hope so. I can't wait. So, well, all right, guys. I don't want to take up no more of her time. She's a busy woman.
This was so fun.
I know, right? We got a lot of people wanting to tell their stories. So make sure you guys, make sure you go back and look in the comments. You will find the link to her email. If you have a spooky story you want to tell, you could end up being in her next book next year at some point. So just send her an email and tell your story, and she'll decide, if it's going to be what she wants. So you want to tell everybody again where they can go follow your paranormal team and where they can find your books.
Founder of Elk Valley Paranormal. I'm on Facebook, Shrader Hill author, and Elk Valley Paranormal. My personal page is also there, Shrader Hill. But you can send me anything, ShraderHillAuthor@gmail.com. Our website is elkvalleyparanormal.com. Remember, you can go and see the evidence and actually listen to the EVPs from that 3rd book. They're Speaking, Are You Listening? My most compelling EVPs. And all 4 books are on Amazon. I'm self-published, so check me out. Oh, and if you have Kindle and you have Kindle Unlimited, they're free.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sen. Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
I love hearing ghost stories. We could just, all I need is a glass of wine, and I could listen to your stories. Not only are you an amazing author, but you're good at telling the story, ghost stories. So can you imagine, you guys, how good the books are that she writes? She tells amazing stories, and she's a good writer if she's telling amazing stories. You tell it like you draw me in. I'm like, like me, I'm all over the place telling my stories. I just am. That's just me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Hi, James.
Yeah, I got a lot of people still hanging.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for being here. I am ghosting out. Make sure you tune in this weekend. Okay. Make sure that ended. I don't know that it ended.
It's still going.
We're
still going, guys.
My computer's haunted. There.